Hello. Welcome back. Today it's about a journey that redefined what humanity thought was possible. We are going back to 1969, to the moments that led to one giant leap for mankind. The world held its breath on July 16, 1969. At the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, the colossal Saturn V rocket stood ready. Its mission, Apollo 11. Its destination, the Moon. Inside the command module, 3 men prepared for the journey of a lifetime. Commander Neil Armstrong, Lunar Module Pilot Buzz Aldrin, and Command Module Pilot Michael Collins. The air was thick with anticipation. The space race against the Soviet Union had reached its climax, and the hopes of a nation were strapped to the top of that 363-foot tower of power. The countdown echoed across the globe. 10, 9, 8. At 9:32 a.m., the 5 F1 engines roared to life, unleashing a staggering 7.6 million pounds of thrust. The ground shook. A wave of sound and power washed over the spectators as the Saturn V majestically lifted off, climbing higher and higher into the blue Florida sky. Millions watched on their televisions, their faces a mixture of awe, hope, and anxiety. For the next 3 days, the world was transfixed as Apollo 11 hurtled through the black void of space, a tiny capsule carrying 3 pioneers toward the lunar frontier. Back on Earth, Mission Control in Houston was a symphony of controlled chaos. Flight Director Gene Kranz, with his iconic vest and unwavering focus, led a team of brilliant engineers and scientists. Every calculation, every communication, every blip on their screens was critical. They were the lifeline, the invisible hands guiding the astronauts across 250,000 miles of space. The pressure was immense. One wrong calculation, one system failure, and the mission could end in tragedy. But their training, dedication, and teamwork were the bedrock upon which this audacious endeavor was built. As Apollo 11 entered lunar orbit, the next critical phase began. Armstrong and Aldrin moved into the lunar module, which they had affectionately named the Eagle. Michael Collins, often called the loneliest man in history, would remain in the command module, Columbia, orbiting the Moon alone, a vital link back to Earth. As the Eagle separated from Columbia, Armstrong reported, "The Eagle has wings." The descent to the lunar surface had begun. It was the most dangerous part of the mission. The Eagle was essentially a flying computer with thin walls, designed for one purpose: to land on the Moon. The final minutes of the descent were heart-stopping. As Armstrong and Aldrin piloted the Eagle toward the Sea of Tranquility, alarms suddenly blared through the cockpit. 12:02, 12:01. These were computer overload alarms. On the ground, a 26-year-old guidance officer named Steve Bales had to make a split-second decision. He knew his systems. He trusted his training. "Go," he called out. "We are go on that alarm." He had correctly determined the computer was just working overtime, not failing. But the drama wasn't over. Armstrong, now manually flying the lander, saw their target site was a crater filled with large boulders. With fuel running dangerously low, he skillfully piloted the Eagle past the crater, searching for a safe spot. The voice from Mission Control was tense. 60 seconds. That's all the fuel they had left for hovering. Armstrong's heart rate was soaring, but his hands were steady. He was a test pilot, a man known for his cool head under extreme pressure. He found a clear, flat area. 30 seconds. The tension was unbearable. Then, finally, a sensor on one of the Eagle's legs touched the surface. Aldrin's voice crackled through the speakers, calm and clear. Contact light. "Okay, engine stop." A pause. Then, Armstrong's historic words, "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." A wave of relief and pure joy washed over Mission Control. They had done it. They were on the Moon. For 6.5 hours, Armstrong and Aldrin prepared for the first human steps on another world. Then, the hatch opened. The grainy, black and white television feed was beamed across the planet. Neil Armstrong carefully descended the ladder. As his boot touched the fine, powdery lunar soil, he uttered the immortal words that would be etched into history forever. That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. An estimated 650 million people watched this moment live. For the first time, humanity was looking at itself from another celestial body. Soon after, Buzz Aldrin joined him on the surface, describing the view with poetic wonder as magnificent desolation. For over 2 hours, they moved in the low lunar gravity, bouncing like children in a dream. They planted the American flag, a symbol of national achievement and human endeavor. They collected rock and soil samples that would revolutionize our understanding of the moon and the solar system. They set up scientific experiments. They even took a phone call from the President of the United States, Richard Nixon. They were explorers, scientists, and ambassadors for planet Earth, all at once. Meanwhile, orbiting above them, Michael Collins waited. He could see the entire Earth, a beautiful, fragile blue marble suspended in the darkness. He later wrote about the profound sense of perspective this gave him. While Armstrong and Aldrin were the stars on the surface, Collins's role was absolutely crucial. Without his expert piloting of the command module, his crewmates would have been stranded. He was their ride home. After their historic moonwalk, Armstrong and Aldrin returned to the Eagle, exhausted but exhilarated. They blasted off from the lunar surface, a nerve-wracking maneuver that had never been attempted before, and successfully rendezvoused with Collins in Columbia. The journey home was one of reflection and triumph. They had stared into the unknown and returned as heroes. On July 24th, Columbia streaked back through Earth's atmosphere, a fiery meteor carrying precious cargo. It splashed down safely in the Pacific Ocean, where the crew was recovered by the USS Hornet. Their mission was complete. They were home. The world erupted in celebration. The Apollo 11 mission was more than just a technological achievement. It was a unifying moment for humanity. It showed us what we could accomplish when we dared to dream big, work together, and push the boundaries of what is possible. It inspired a generation to look up at the stars and wonder, what's next? The legacy of Apollo 11 continues to inspire us to reach for new frontiers, whether in space, science, or here on Earth. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe.